thank you for joining. Uh, Looked out the window because it is rumbling thunder out here. Where I am located, we haven't had a lot of rain for about 6 or 7 months. So it's pretty exciting. Today I'm doing a live stream because I want to explore a little bit more in public the aspect of the teacher teaching himself. So I have about 20 years of experience in teaching cello and music in general, among other subjects. However, I have never really explored the teaching that I do in my own time for myself. In the last year, I have undergone a lot of learning. Excuse me, I have to fix something. I have undergone a lot of learning. The project that I have developed over the last year and a half is such that I have to learn new music every time I make an upload um, to qualify as forgotten cello music. And basically, everything that I learned in school or after school, after college, after my master's program, could basically not be categorized in the forgotten cello music category. So I am learning everything brand new. That includes the last two complete opus numbers by August Nölck, opus 24, 10 etudes, and Sebastian Lee's 12 etude caprice characteristique. I've never seen those pieces prior to learning them, and I learned them, generally speaking, 1 or 2 days in advance of posting them. So um, I guess if I'm being fair to myself, it wasn't such a bad job considering I have not really played diligently or seriously for about 4 years. The most serious playing I've done is the posting that you've seen online in the last year and a half. That is the most serious playing I've done. Prior to the 4 years, I was a orchestra musician, a recitalist, a chamber musician, a teacher, and that's what I did for a living. Due to my situation, I don't have much opportunity to play, and I'm not such a fan of going out to finding things to play in because of the where I live. I don't speak the language very well, and I don't assimilate into other cultures very well either. But I am currently in that situation. I'd like to begin with the Nölck because they are a little bit easier. They are lower in level. I discovered these maybe 6 or 7 months before I actually practiced them. I never looked at them other than a brief read, maybe through half of each one, just to see if I'd like them. And I did like them, but I didn't think that I would want to play them because I was more interested in accompanied music or duet music, which is accompanied music. So I had a thought. A thought occurred to me after I started practicing scales and arpeggios again and posted some of those videos. I thought, wouldn't it be nice if I had some etudes to practice and make myself learn some technique? So that's the reason for doing these. I wanted to have more than just scales, but I wanted technique along with music. And these seem to fit quite well. They were less advanced than the popper etudes that one typically will hear online, or the Duport, or even Piatti, which are virtuosic. So I'm going to play just a few. This is the first etude by August Nölck. And I will read the notes, I guess you can call them. They're just a phrase. It says an der Spitze, so at the point. And I think that's something like a suggestion. You know, they say at the point. I learned it in many ways. You can see my just amazing window over there, just the corner. It's just lovely, lovely views. All right, so the etude, the opus number 24, etude number 1, an Allegro moderato, an der Spitze. All right, so I'm just going to stop there. So many things go through my head and I distract myself very easily, but this at the point, at the tip of the bow, is something that I haven't practiced a whole lot in my time as a cellist. So, and quite frankly, I haven't played seriously except for the last couple of months, and it's very exhausting. So what I did to begin learning this was actually not at the point, but in the middle. And just use a stopped bow. Also, trying to avoid this really sharp sounds. Now, a number of things are going on here that I can't really control because I need a lot of money to fix those problems. Namely, I need better strings. I also need to get my cello adjusted, which I haven't done in years, almost years. And I need a new bridge. And I need a rehair. Okay, so those are excuses. Now on to the technique. like that. So apart from the very nasally and sharp sounding A string that I have currently, also it's very humid, and if I run the dehumidifier, it just is really impossible to hear. Okay, so I get narrower and narrower. I reduce the amount of bow that I use, and I also try to control that the bow is being stopped, first of all, being played at the same speed for both the down and the up. So, but also that the stopping points are the same. So it's not stop quickly like this, but stop slowly like this, but rather like this. And I found that improved the quality of sound. And as long as I can maintain that throughout, even while being very fatigued, it helps quite a lot. Now, let me skip ahead to where I stopped, and this gives you another view, another hearing of another problem that we have. Okay, first of all, the first problem is that we keep getting higher up on the string. Thankfully, it doesn't go above third position. So the problem of playing an open string and a stopped note on a different string is not a huge difficulty. Just adjust the bow angle. Just slightly. I mean, it shouldn't be, obviously. And that will take care of it. And again, as long as you can think about all those things while being very tired. And then we get into more difficulty where you get into the G string. And my G string, wait for the jokes if anybody's listening, and it has never done a good job. This third string down just doesn't respond well. So you have to be extremely precise with the catching of the string. And then you go up while you're crossing. G string, C string, G string, G string, A string, G string, A string, D string. It's just back and forth. And while you're at the tip. So slow, it's not so bad. That's doable. And it goes on and on like this. Thankfully, it's just one page. But toward the end, it starts to do arpeggios, which presents a whole different problem whereby you need to skip one string as you cross strings. So you're going from the D string down to the C string again. So it's a game of how fast, but how accurate can you be? So you've got all of these Great. That's the first etude. I'm going to skip to an etude that I freely admit is kind of like a nemesis to me because I have never been proficient at trills. Trills have been something that I had worked on very hard and achieved some amount of proficiency at, but they were never stellar, never virtuosic. At one point, I was satisfied, but after some years of not really keeping at the practice, it just fell really out of good use. So here's number 5. This says moderato, and there is no phrase at the beginning. So I'm pretty happy with that. That's improved immensely since the first time I played this about a month ago, and I have been reviewing these 10 etudes, at least several of them a couple of times a week. So I might have reviewed this one 4 times, maybe 5 times in the last month since uploading my version. So here we go. We've got a 9/8 meter where it is an unequal bowing, where you've got 6 beats slurred down bow and then 3 beats slurred up bow with a trill and then a Nachschlag. So, and I maybe didn't use the terminology correctly, but it's a grace, 2 grace notes that acts kind of like half a turn after the note, after the trill. That A and B flat are the grace notes. So you've got a lot of counting on your plate, and then that all of this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, or 7, 8, 9. And then he goes directly into a 4th finger trill, the weakest finger. It's in a sad state. It's a really sad state. I'm so jealous of those people that can trill on their 4th fingers and make it look powerful, make it look solid. My professor in my master's degree was one of those people, and it was just a thing of beauty to behold. To see that 4th finger wiggle like it was a 2nd finger. So here we go. I'll do a few lines of this. So with those trills on the 4th finger, it's really evident that I'm getting very tired, and I just haven't put in the time. So I just wanted to highlight that, something that really needs a lot of work, and I haven't put in the appropriate amount of time to make it any significantly more proficient than when I started. A little bit, yes, but not great. Okay, now I will go to number 8, etude number 8, which is an Allegro, and it says am Frosch hüpfend, which means at the frog, and like hopping. Again, something that is just naturally very hard to do. This is not a hopping part of the bow. I'm going to play it before I say anything more. Okay, a couple of things are probably evident right away, that there's lots of squeaking and I'm hitting the other strings all the time. Maybe my bow is not crooked, maybe my wrist is really tight, my arm, all sorts of things that I need to go back and revisit in earnest to retrain myself how to. And again, I'm complaining. Yes, the quality of my instrument is just not at its maximum. Probably not even its half quality. And it's really humid. That doesn't help. So this hopping thing is good. Practice for control of how you finesse the heavy part of the bow. Okay, August Nölck is done for now. I would like to do Sebastian Lee. These are a significant leap up in difficulty, even though they do not utilize that much higher of a position. I think the average high position is the third. I guess maybe you could say the fourth, but the third is quite prominent. First, second, third. And right in the first one, he does use the fourth position even in the opening measure. And then just because of the way that he requires use of the bow and the music involved is a significant leap up in technical proficiency needed to play this. I really like these 12 etude caprices that are all characterized with titles, descriptive titles. Number 1 is Le Calme. They're all titled in French for some reason, except for the Capriccio, which ironically should be titled Caprice, which is in the French title. But anyway, here is Le Calme and Allegro Moderato, number 1. I would have to say this is probably the easiest one, and it's also the one that I feel the best at doing. Uh, when I started to practice this piece, it was very apparent that I need a lot of steady bow control to be able to get the calm feeling. And I think I'm starting to get it throughout some of the piece. I wouldn't say most of the piece yet, but at the beginning I feel fairly confident about it. So that 4 beats up and then back down, 3 beats. And again. And this one right here, I struggle to keep my bow out. I want to go back and start at the frog, but really it should be. And so on. One part that I really like a lot is right in the middle. And that's tough in the left hand right there because you're going from a chromatic scale up in fourth position and then back to first position but with an extension. And that's a tough call. That's a tough call to keep this in tune. And also, he wants a decrescendo on this. And a crescendo here. crescendo is peaking at that extended one. That's tough. So you've got to finesse that turnaround for the down up, but it's got to be at the high point between that E and that G sharp. It's got to be at the high point of the crescendo, and it's one of those things that you've got to sit down and really put in lots of hard work and lots of thought as to how you're going to do it. And since my project, I have a goal with my project of putting out a new recording every day, which I haven't done very well this week. Kind of old recordings, but nonetheless, I want to do one every day. So I've got to keep on going. I just can't sit and learn something for 4 or 5 hours every day, unfortunately. And that's a good point. That's a good time to say that really the point of this project is to learn and share as much of this cello music that literally nobody is giving the time of day. Nobody in the main stage, and likely none of the main teachers. I just happen to like this kind of genre of music. It's like classical miniatures, like miniature pieces for classical music. I'm interested in sonatas and concertos, but not exactly at this moment. So I'm focusing more on some shorter works, and of course sonatinas. I've uploaded Klangel sonatinas and one Gultermann sonatina. Okay, that was some slur work. Now comes, and a lot of this is slurred, lots of long slurs. Now comes number 3, which is a scherzo, and it's all separate. It's in 6/8, all 16th notes. So I've got 12 notes in every measure. Like this. And the one bit of information he has is bien détaché or bien détaché. So I guess just a regular old back and forth. That's how I interpret it. Allegretto. And so on and so forth. So it's really interesting when it might be something common for most string players, but when you start getting off, and then you get a little bit preoccupied with, why, thinking and asking yourself, why did I just get off? Then you stop preparing for what's coming up ahead, and then it just keeps on snowballing and getting worse and worse. And that's what happened in line 3. It started well, and actually it started with this thought, I did it really well, instead of thinking ahead. And I probably, what happened is that I shortchanged an up bow, which is very common in my playing, where I don't play it long enough, and therefore my left hand is not ready for the next down bow. And that's where you start getting all that wrong. It's uncoordinated. It seems to me. I think I've been told many times before that my up bows are usually too short, and in many cases way too short. And so it gets faster and faster. So this is a really good exercise because he does lots of string crossings, and it's in a compound meter, so it's you've really got a lot of coordination to take care of. I will skip a few. We're coming up on 40 minutes soon, and I wanted to do a minor key. This is l'orage, number 6, the storm. Der Sturm. And I'm looking right out the window there, and it is getting, well, it's starting to get sundown too, so it's getting darker. But the clouds are much thicker than they were just 30 minutes ago. So we're in B minor, a lovely key for cello, B minor. Allegro agitato. And it will, I'll try to take it at an allegro tempo, but maybe not the top allegro. Okay. Honestly, I feel very good about some places. In other places, I'm just kicking myself because I practiced them and they just didn't come out. So I was doing really well the other day. This fully diminished arpeggio that just, got trashed at the high point both times. Both times. Okay, 3 times. It second time was okay. The third time was not good. And the reason being is that I wasn't mentally prepared. He changes the fingering. It's different on the way down than it is on the way up. And you've got to be ready for that. There it is. But on the way down, guess what? But there. It's a bit of a doozy. And on top of that, that's 12 notes slurred with a crescendo down bow, which is what I've decided to do it as. I suppose it's arguable that you could start. And I messed it up again. Look at that. nice for working out. But then at the end, you'd have to play that up bow. And it's feasible, but it just is so unsatisfying to end it that way. Of course, I could change the bowing somewhere else to fit my needs. I suppose I could do this, which would be relatively satisfying. All right. Let's see. I think I will do number 11 as the last one for this live stream, which is Le Gondolier. The gondolier, whatever it is. Those gondolas, I believe they're talking about those boats in Venice, that type of thing. So water, in a boat, on the water, gentle rocking, ben legato. Again, this is another one, the trills from the Nölck. This is the same thing for my, so I had the trills in my left hand, no, not really good. And now this fast string crossing in slurs on my right hand. It's two things, one for each hand, that just need lots and lots of practice. I only did this practice maybe once or twice very seriously. If I remember right, there's a section in the Prokofiev cello sonata, I think. Oh, I haven't looked at that in years, so I can't remember now. And then I was practicing, I know for sure there's a whole page of it in the Brahms F major cello sonata, opus 99. And I had practiced that and I'd gotten reasonably proficient at it. Not 100% smooth, but I think it could have worked had I actually played it with somebody, which I never did. So here it is, Allegretto. It's going to be slow to keep it more even. I'm working on the evenness of the string crossings. I'm going to put it at an end right there for this number. It's I'm hot and tired right now. I haven't had a fan blowing on me at all this whole time because it's just going to blow right into my microphones and make it really hard to have a halfway decent recording. Already live streaming with my current equipment is not good. So I'd be surprised if you can actually hear what I'm saying or what I'm playing clearly. It's usually garbled when I go back to listen. I'm going to leave you with where'd it go? I'm going to leave you with this little song, which was transcribed by Karl Reinecke in the 1800s, and then for violin and piano, and then by Julius Klingel for cello and piano. And it goes like this from Mozart. And now I must be on my way. Thank you to whoever was listening and watching. And I hope it was enjoyable and informative in some way, whether or not it was a positive or a negative information. I don't know. You know, maybe you thought, wow, I definitely should not play the way he plays. Then it's informative. And who knows, maybe somebody thought, yeah, okay, I can agree with that. Maybe I should play like that or work on it like that too. Have a good morning or evening or afternoon, mid morning, late afternoon, early morning, wherever you are in the world. Bye bye.